Hi, this is Phil Hartman with PH Fabrication, Horton Race Cars. Just wanted to give you guys a weekly shop update. Hope everyone's doing well. So it's been a busy few weeks, and I do apologize for not keeping up with the shop updates. Just haven't had time with the workload at the shop, along with some of the racing we've been doing. But I hope to get better at getting more shop updates out there for you guys. Now, if you do see a project in the shop that you have any questions about, please feel free to ask, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Now, the projects we do have in the shop are the Pontiac Firebird, a 55 Chevy Gaster, the Landspeed car. Now, this Landspeed car we didn't build from scratch. It's a completely different one, in for some modifications to it. Then we have a 55 Chevy Gaster in the far bay and an altered, along with a production job. So we'll be going over all those projects today. Now, the Pontiac Firebird's been a really unique car to have in the shop. We did a complete 6-point roll bar in it, along with a titanium front end and some modifications to the torque arm rear end or rear suspension. Now, the 6-point roll bar is completely made out of Docol material. It's in the same family as chromoly. NHRA has approved it, and they are saying that it's a little bit stronger than chromoly. The weldability is really nice. It doesn't have the mil scale on it like chromoly, but it just gives people a different option to put in the car. The material is really nice to work with, so I have really no complaints. And this is actually the first complete Docol roll bar I've put in a car. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the customer thinks of it all when he gets it back. But we've got our nitrous bottle mount. It mounts to the cage and to the floor. Then we've got our adjustable seat back mount, along with the wraparound seat belts and the complete swing out door bars on both sides. So definitely a very easy car to work on, especially if you needed to swing the door bars out. You can get in and out really easy without a problem. Now, we've also modified the torque arm a little bit, basically adding some support underneath instead of having the torque arm attached to the transmission cross member or to the transmission itself. It's got its own cross member underneath. You can see the drive shaft loop welded into the tunnel there, but that all really turned out nice. Now, up front is something we haven't done on hardly any cars at all in the shop, and this is pretty new to me also, but it's got a complete titanium front end under it. So you can see the titanium crossbar there. Everything is mounted to the frame horns, and basically we remounted everything back into the factory location. Everything down to the radiator has got its radiator mounts underneath and along the top. And then you can see that the top bar here gets bolted to a piece of Docol tubing. Now, this Docol tubing is attached to the frame horns, but also gives the strut towers a little bit more support. Now, the titanium definitely saves them a lot of weight. You can see all the remnants that we cut out of the car. And it should probably save them around 20 to 25 pounds, which is a lot of weight when you're talking about weight that's hanging over the front end and as far forward as possible. So, really happy with how this all turned out. I do have a few fine tuning adjustments I got to do on the car yet, basically just making the hood fit a little bit nicer. The gaps are pretty close, but just not exactly happy with them. So we got that to work on today, and hopefully this afternoon the car will head home. Now, we have this 55 Chevy Gaster in the shop, and I know we've done some weekly shop updates on it with the funny car cage, along with the ladder bar rear suspension. Now, we're not really at a standstill with it, but we're just kind of waiting on some parts to come in. We're going to mount the steering wheel, get the seats mounted, get the pedals mounted, and just keep rolling with a few miscellaneous things like that. And then hopefully the car should be really close to leaving. We do still have to take the rear end back out of it and get it powder coated, and we have to build a set of wheelie bars. So we're kind of holding off on getting the rear end powder coated until once we get the wheelie bars done, then it'll all go to powder coat. Now, over here on the Landspeed car, now this is another unique car to have in the shop, and definitely something I didn't really plan on getting involved in with the Landspeed stuff, but I'm really enjoying it. So this car had a different style canopy on the front for the driver. Actually, I got a picture. Here's the old canopy. And it was just basically a piece of Lexan formed over a composite structure. And that would protect the driver. So what we've done is gotten a dragster canopy from DSR. And we are retrofitting this canopy onto the Landspeed car. Now, in order to make this all work, it's going to be done in multiple different pieces. I think the other side's a little bit better to see. And everything will get welded together and then screwed to the carbon fiber canopy. And this whole canopy will actually flip up using a set of hinges. And then we'll have a cover panel here. So you'll still be able to access the hinges if you need to get the canopy off. But all in all, everything is turning out really nicely. One thing we are trying to do is if the customer decides he wants to go back to that canopy, he'll still be able to, because we won't change any of the body panels. He'll still have his old body panels and they'll still fit like they did originally. Everything down to the latch system that he had will still work. So looking forward to getting this car finished up this week. I know the customer is really anxious to get it back because Speed Week is coming up here August 1st, and I'm running out of time and he's running out of time. So I do appreciate his patience and allowing us to do this project. Now over in the third bay here, we got another 55 Chevy Gaster. Now this Gaster's been in the shop for the past few months. It's been in and out. We had a few issues with the front end, the original front end, because it does have a lot of the old original parts under it. So what we're gonna end up doing is basically cut the front end off and then put a brand new front clip that we have on it's set over here. You can see it's already got the leaf springs, axle. Just got to basically cut the front clip off of the 55 and then graft this back in. Hopefully this alleviates some of the problems that they're having with the steering and the shimmy. So that's the plan there. We have started on the car. We got all the fluids out of it and radiators pulled out of it. So once I get a few of these other cars out, that'll be the next car that gets in line, and shouldn't take us too long to retrofit that front clip back onto this chassis. Now we also have a altered, and this is a bracket car, kind of a unique bracket car. J.Ed Horton with Horton Race Cars built this car in 1986. So it's pretty cool to still see this car out there and being ran today. Everything is finished up on it that we have to do, except for we're getting ready to bleed the brakes. But we ended up doing a new dash, tunnel, side panels. We also did a computer tray up here, mounted a overflow tank, had to work on the fuel tank just a little bit, repair the wheelie bars, and just a bunch of miscellaneous things that needed to be fixed. The customer was having some issues with the drivability. It was really wanting to pull one way or the other. So we scaled the car out, set everything back on the jig, and made sure everything was square that way, along with squaring up the rear end. And then, like I said, we scaled everything to make sure we had the right weights per side of the car, so that way it should go straight down the track. Now, when you do all this work on these cars, I know there's a lot of guys out there that just like to go out there and make a full pass. I always recommend, when a car is from a chassis shop, doesn't matter whose chassis shop, to go out there and make a 330-foot pass at the most, maybe 60 feet, just in case something is amiss, and at least in the back of your mind, you're already prepared to shut it off at 60 feet or 330 feet. That's just a good rule of advice for anybody, no matter whose chassis shop you went to. Just when you're going out there, just make a short pass. You can always come back and make another long pass later on in the day. So that is some advice I'd like to give out there to everybody. Now over here in the fourth bay, we've got the iron worker, and Jeremy's been busy cutting up material for a production job we've got going. So looking forward to getting this production job rolling, and we still have a lot more material to cut. I don't do a whole lot of production jobs, but definitely something I'm entertaining and getting more of. And like I said, I don't turn down a lot of work. I typically we'll take on anything that comes to the door. So if you have a production job that you need to have ran or done, please let me know. Be glad to see if it's something I can assist in or help you with. Now you can see this fourth bay is starting to get cleaned out a little bit. And that is the reason is PH Fabrication is expanding. Just one more bay. Gonna just basically rent these 4 bays from Richard, and looking forward to continuing the expansion and growing and making sure we can accommodate everyone's jobs in a timely manner. Well, that is it for this week's weekly shop update. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.